Hi everybody! Today I'm going to go back just a little bit more and talk about Duolingo, but this video is specifically for those teachers who want to use Duolingo in their classes, or they've heard other people doing it, and they want to know just a little bit more about it, or how this would work in their own classroom, or even if it's worth their time. The first thing you're going to want to do is go to dashboard.duolingo.com. If you don't already have an account, you can create one here. Then you can log in using the login button. Before you say anything to your students about Duolingo, you're going to want to create a class first. I have mine set up as German 1 and German 2, but for other teachers it may make more sense for them to set it up for each hour of the day. In fact, it would have been easier for me if I would have done it this way, but I didn't think about it at the time. In order to create a class, you'll need to click on the button that's labeled Create Another Course, or Create a Course if you haven't already created one. From there, you'll be prompted to name your course and choose a Duolingo course to track using this program. Once you have created the class, you can click on it for more options. The most important one is Invite Students. This will give you a link that you can share with your students. I posted my link on my school website for my students, but you could also email this link or connect it with your Google Classroom if it would be more convenient for you. In order for your students to join the class, they will need to click on the link specific to the class that you have created for them. If they don't already have an account for Duolingo, they will need to create one. Once they've signed in and they've clicked on the link that you have provided them, Duolingo will prompt them to allow you to track their progress. They should, obviously, choose to allow you to do this so you can see what they do. This is a very important step. Once you have your students loaded into your class, you can do a bunch of cool things with the information you are given. The default view when you click on a class will show you each student's name and 3 colored boxes next to it. These are for assignments, which I'll get to here in a moment. If you click on More Details, you can see the student's activity for a particular date range. This will show you how many days each student was active on Duolingo, how many lessons they have completed, how many skills they have mastered, and how many points they have earned during that date range. If you click on a student's name, you'll see which lessons and skills they have completed and when. This is the way that I choose to track my students for their Duolingo grades. I simply choose a date range I need, sort by the points that they earned in the time period that they were given, and check to make sure that they got to the mark that they were supposed to. This is the easiest way for me to do this from what I actually need, but there are other options. You can also download this information as a spreadsheet, which is good if you want to keep it for documentation or something like that. If you choose Course Progress from the More Details option, you'll be given a bunch of circles with little green check marks in them and other circles with colors on them. This shows what skills your students have mastered and how far they have progressed through the program. As you can see, some of my students have completed very little, while some have actually completed the entire Duolingo tree. If you click on the Assignments tab on the left, you'll be given the option to create an assignment. You have 2 options, collect points or complete a skill. If you choose collect points, you'll need to choose how many points you want them to get, and then when this assignment will be due. If you choose complete a skill for your assignment, the general idea is the same, but this time you choose a skill that you want them to complete. The only downside here is that you can't choose the date that it was assigned on. This means that you actually have to assign it on the date that you want it to be actually assigned according to Duolingo. Me personally, I don't have that much time on my hands, so it's a bit difficult for me to remember each week to assign the new points value for my students every single week when they need to have it. As you can see here, I already did one assignment for this class. All they had to do was get 100 points in 1 week. Once the assignment due date has passed, you'll be given a list of colored boxes. The green indicates the number of students who completed the assignment. Yellow shows the ones who didn't complete it at the right time, but they did after the deadline, and red shows the number of students who didn't complete the assignment at all. If you click on the assignment, you'll be given a list of students with their names so you can see which ones completed it, which ones didn't, and which ones were late. Again, the same color scheme works. A concern for some teachers may be whether or not Duolingo aligns with their curriculum at their school. If you want to see what is taught in each skill level, click on German Curriculum, or whatever language you have here, off to the left-hand side. There you'll find an outline of vocabulary and grammar taught in each skill. On the left-hand side, it will tell you what percentage of your students have already completed that particular skill. On the right-hand side, it will give you some example sentences from that skill. If you click on Tips and Notes, it will show you what grammar is being targeted for that particular skill. It will give you any additional information that students will receive while going through the lessons. If you want to see what a lesson looks like for a particular skill, you can click Start Sample Lesson, but I personally like to actually go through each lesson myself and try it out for myself to see what it would look like from the student's perspective. You can also directly assign a particular skill with the big green button on the right side. The last tab on the left-hand side for class is Class Activities tab. This tab is for things that you can do as a class. I would suggest putting this on a projector and going through it as a class. Power Practice is a quiz-style setup based on the average knowledge of your entire class. You can put this on the projector, and you can have your class try to answer the questions. This is great for a review, but only if your curriculum aligns really well with Duolingo. You can also study flashcards based on the words that your students need to see the most. These are words that your students haven't seen in a while. Again, this will take the average knowledge base of your students and apply that to find out which words should be studied. This page also says that they will be adding games in the future, which I'm really looking forward to see what they have to offer. On the main page, there are also a few settings that teachers might want to know about. If you click on privacy settings from the top right, you can choose if you want students to access the discussion forums or have the ability to comment on other classmates' progress. You can also choose whether you want your students to be able to see translation options or certain sensitive vocabulary words, such as wine or beer. So how do I personally use this in my classes? Well, last semester was the first time that I tried this as an official assignment. Every 4 weeks, students had to get 300 points and at least one new skill. The idea was that they would review some older material and then learn at least one new thing every month. In my mind, Duolingo should be a supplement to an actual course. The reality became that the students would wait until the very last night that it was due and then do all 300 points at once. If you only use Duolingo once a month, you will learn next to nothing and it loses all of its usefulness. In the second semester, I've changed things considerably. I've made the requirement a weekly requirement instead of a monthly one. I've changed it so it's one new skill every week and 100 points. I count a week as Monday through Sunday. If a student gets 100 points and masters at least one new skill each week, then they get 10 points in my class. This means it won't impact their grade too much if they only forget for 1 week, but if they consistently forget to do it, they will lose quite a few points by the end of the quarter. It also means that they have to use Duolingo at least once per week. While ideally I would like my students to use Duolingo for about 20 minutes per day, I think it would be a little bit too much additional work since they already have a bunch of other work not only in my class but other classes. The only downsides that I can see from this system is that I can't actually change the assigned on date, which I've already complained about in the forum on Duolingo, so hopefully they'll be fixing that in the future. So what do you think? If you're a teacher, would you use Duolingo for schools? Do you think it would be an effective way to supplement your teaching outside of the classroom? If you're a student, how would you feel about having a teacher assign things via Duolingo? Leave some comments down below and discuss. I look forward to hearing what you think.